Hi there. It's November 9th, 2021. Um, Today's daily reading is from Joseph Murphy and Napoleon Hill. In the past, I had done some readings from them, and I think it's important to review them and update and through repetition, keep the fire going, to keep the fuel going, keep the drive going, keep the higher vision. So today's daily readings, inspirational readings, are from Joseph Murphy, Dr. Joseph Murphy, the author of the classic bestseller 1963, Power of Your Subconscious Mind, also the 1955 masterpiece, How to Attract Money, the Original Source of Abundance, and as well as Napoleon Hill's classic 13 Principle Philosophy, Think and Grow Rich, was written in 1937. That Napoleon Hill devoted 20 years of his life to studying and researching 500 of the greatest successful men and women, and then writing down what was the common denominators in their success in 13 principles, and a 13 principle philosophy of the book, Think and Grow Rich. So now I'm going to start with some daily readings from Joseph Murphy, and then I'm going to continue on reading from Napoleon Hill's classic. This is the masterpiece from Joseph Murphy. Enjoy. It's your right to be rich. You are here to lead the abundant life. You should surround yourself with beauty and luxury. Learn to make friends with money, and you'll always have a surplus. Money is only a symbol. God wants you to be happy, prosperous, and successful. You were born to succeed, to win, to conquer all difficulties, and have all your faculties fully developed. Get away immediately from all superstitious beliefs about money. You are here to lead a balanced life. As Christ said in the Bible, you're here to lead an abundant life. You're not here just to get by. You're here to lead the abundant life. Surround yourself with love and luxury. Abundance is your birthright. Remember that always. Whoever's watching this, abundance is your birthright. You're here to lead the abundant life. Always remember that and remind yourself of that again and again. When times are tough, times are challenging, abundance is your birthright. What you really desire was true place, peace of mind, and abundance. You could have the million or many millions of dollars and do one of them and still have peace of mind, harmony, perfect health, and divine expression. Money is a symbol of God's opulence, beauty, refinement, and abundance, and it should be used wisely to bless humanity. When money is circulating freely in your life, you're economically healthy. Wealth is forever flowing freely in your life, and there's always a divine surplus. Wealth is a state of consciousness. Wealth is a state of mind. It's a mind conditioned to divine supply forever flowing. Wealth is a state of mind. Repeat this phrase slowly 3 to 4 times a day for about 4 to 5 minutes. That's about 15 to 20 minutes a day. You can write it in your journal or repeat it slowly aloud to yourself. Money is forever circulating freely in my life, and there's always a divine surplus. Through repeated saying this over and over again, it'll make an imprint into your deeper subconscious mind, and you will develop that wealth consciousness that you desire. You will develop that wealth consciousness. Unless one is lucky enough to be born with it, one must create and develop that prosperity and wealth consciousness. You can do it. I can do it. Hey, anyone can do it. We can all do it, right? I am prospering every day. I am growing in wealth and in wisdom every day. Every day my wealth is multiplying. I'm advancing and moving forward and growing financially. My sales are increasing every day. I'm advancing and moving forward. Dr. Joseph Murphy shares this mirror technique that you can use when you're shaving. You want to repeat the words health, wealth, and success. All those have powerful anchors that will anchor you to succeed and to achieve success. And you want to repeat that for 5 to 10 minutes while shaving. Health, wealth, and success. Over and over again for 5 to 10 minutes. Accepting the end wills the means to the realization of the end. Believe that you have it now and you shall receive it. That's again from the Bible, ask and you shall receive. Knock at the door and it shall be opened. Seek and you will find. The consciousness of health produces health. The consciousness of wealth produces wealth. You first have to create the consciousness, and then the outer manifestation will result in health and wealth and success. The consciousness must come first, it must be created and developed, and then the outer reality will look after itself. This is a great affirmation and declaration for making wise investments. You want to, again, repeat it out loud to yourself 15 to 20 times a day, or you want to write it out in your journal. Infinite intelligence governs and watches over all my financial transactions, and whatsoever I do shall prosper. One with God is a majority. I do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. Remember, you want to anchor in the emotion and feeling of wealth and prosperity. You want to feel wealthy. You want to feel prosperous. You want to think prosperous thoughts. You can say the feeling of wealth produces wealth. You want to accept the abundant life in your own mind as you enter into the mood of opulence. All things necessary for the abundant life will come to pass. Remember, you're here to lead the abundant life, and abundance is your birthright. You want to say this frequently, intelligently, and knowingly throughout the day. Say this phrase frequently throughout the day, and you will develop a prosperity consciousness. You'll condition your mind to a prosperity consciousness. God is the source of my supply. That supplies my supply now. His riches flow to me freely, capaciously, and abundantly. I am forever conscious of my true worth. I give my talents freely, and I'm wonderfully, divinely compensated. Thank you, Father. Write this prayer in your heart, in your subconscious mind, and material wealth and abundance will manifest for you. Riches are of the mind. Contribute to humanity. You'll always be wealthy when you have an intense desire to contribute to the good of mankind. Your urge for service. Say frequently throughout the day this affirmation and declaration. God is the source of my supply. All my needs are met at every moment in time, point, and space, and there is always a divine surplus. Say this affirmation, repeated frequently, knowingly, and intelligently. God is the source of my supply. All my financial and other needs are met at every moment in time, point, and space, and there is always a divine surplus. God supplies all my needs. There's a divine surplus in my life. God is the source of my supply, and that supply is mine now. God's wealth is my wealth. God reveals to me better ways to present the truths of God to my fellow creature. Again, the emotion and feeling of wealth must be cultivated. The feeling of wealth produces wealth. For wealth is a state of consciousness. Wealth is a state of mind. A state of consciousness is how you think, feel, and believe, and what you mentally give consent to. And remember this always. Through faith and perseverance, you can realize your goal in life. These are some declarations of truth. These are some of my favorite affirmations and declarations. You want to place your hand in your heart. You can look in the mirror, and that's even more powerful. Or you can put your hand on the heart, sitting down or standing up, and repeat after me these declarations of truth. I am inspired by life. I feel my oneness with all of life. I am a magnet for miracles. My creativity is always in demand. My work gives me great pleasure. I am strong, healthy, and feel great. I am glowing with radiant health. I radiate great confidence. Every day and in every way, I'm getting better and better. That's a great phrase that's repeated over and over again in sports, business, in politics, everything. That phrase, every day and every way, I'm getting better and better. Emile Coué, a French psychotherapist, actually healed many patients. Thousands of patients got cured by saying that phrase, every day and every way, I'm getting better and better. In his classic book, Self-Mastery, Auto-Suggestion, Emile Coué said that once that repeated phrase sinks into your subconscious mind, you're cured and healthy and healed. And it also can be used for finances, relationships, or any other area of your life that you wish to improve and perform and commit to excellence. I have unlimited power at my disposal. Remember, you can do anything. You are unique, and You can choose any thoughts you want. That is your greatest choice. You can choose your thoughts. I choose to live my life fully now, and it is my birthright to live my life fully. Remember, it is your birthright to live your life fully, and it is your birthright for abundance and to leading the abundant life. Now, I'm going to continue on to some of Napoleon Hill's great readings from Think and Grow Rich, the 13 Principles Philosophy. Stay with me here. I'll be right back. I'll have a drink of water. To all of you out there, fill up a gallon of water. You can get this water jug at 7-Eleven or your local store, Freshco or wherever. Fill it up with water. If you want to leave a little bit of flavor in it, squeeze a little bit of lemon juice or lime juice to give a little bit of flavor, and I'll allow you to drink the water. This is 4 liters a gallon, but you want to definitely have 8 to 10 glasses of water a day. Keep hydrated. You want to sip this throughout the day. Okay, back to the reading. Think and Grow Rich, the original 1937 classic, Napoleon Hill, the 13 Principle Philosophy. I'm going to read to you from the condensed version. Introduction, The Power of a Simple Book. The book you're about to experience has probably touched more lives than any other work of modern self-help. Try a small personal experiment. Carry a copy of Think and Grow Rich with you through an airport, grocery store, shopping mall, or any public place, and see if more than one person doesn't stop you and say something like, "Now that's a great book." I have met artists, business people, doctors, teachers, athletes, people from different professions, and possess the seemingly different outer goals who have attested that Think and Grow Rich made a concrete difference in their lives. This is because whatever our individual aims and desires, all motivated people share one common trait, the drive for personal excellence. Good affirmation is, I am committed to perform with excellence in all that I do. I am committed to perform with excellence in all that I do. This book, better than any other I know, breaks down the steps and elements to accomplishing any worthwhile goal. When journalist Napoleon Hill published Think and Grow Rich in 1937, he had already dedicated more than 20 years of study to discovering and documenting the common traits displayed by high achievers across varying fields. Hill observed and interviewed more than 500 exceptional people, ranging from statesmen and generals to inventors and industrialists. He condensed their shared traits into 13 principles of accomplishment, and this forms the core of Think and Grow Rich. This book has sold many millions of copies around the world since its first appearance, but that is not the true measure of its success. Lots of books gain popularity for a time, but go unread and sometimes unheard of within a decade or so of their publication. But Think and Grow Rich has, if anything, grown in influence since Hill's death in 1970. Its ideas are at the foundation of most of today's philosophies of business motivation and personal achievement. But there is still more to Hill's book than that, and this brings us back to the little experiment proposed at the start of the preface. Think and Grow Rich evokes rare and deeply felt affection among many of its readers. All over America and other parts of the world, it is possible to run into friendly strangers who will beckon you aside for a moment to share a brief personal connection, telling you how Think and Grow Rich has helped them in life. In a sense, you're about to join an informal fraternity of strivers from a wide range of backgrounds who have benefited from the principles in this book. When you meet them, many will welcome you with a nod and smiles to say, "We've been waiting for you." Mitch Horowitz. Chapter 1, Desire, the first step to riches. In the early 20th century, a great American salesman and businessman named Edwin C. Barnes discovered how true it is that men really do think and grow rich. Barnes discovered it did not come in one sitting. It came little by little, beginning with an all-consuming desire to become a business associate of inventor Thomas A. Edison. One of the chief characteristics of Barnes' desire was that it was definite. Barnes wanted to work with Edison, not just for him. Straight off a freight train, Barnes presented himself in 1905 at Edison's New Jersey laboratory. He announced that he had come to go into business with the inventor. And speaking of their meeting years later, Edison said, he stood there looking before me, looking like an ordinary tramp, but there was something in the expression of his face which conveyed the impression that he was determined to get what he had come after. Barnes did not get his partnership with Edison on his first interview, but he did get a chance to work in the Edison offices at a very nominal wage, doing a job that was unimportant to Edison, but most important to Barnes because it gave him an opportunity to display his abilities with his future partner. Months passed. Nothing happened outwardly to bring Barnes any closer to his goal, but something important was happening in Barnes' mind. He was constantly intensifying his chief desire and his plans to become Edison's business associate. Barnes was determined to remain ready until he got the opportunity he came for. When the big chance arrived, it was in a different form and from a different direction than Barnes had expected. That is one of the tricks of opportunity. It has a sly habit of slipping in by the back door, and it often comes disguised as misfortune or temporary defeat. Perhaps this is why so many fail to wait for or recognize opportunity when it arrives. Edison had just perfected a new device, known then as the Edison dictating machine. His salesmen were not enthusiastic, but Barnes saw his opportunity, hidden in a strange looking contraption that interested no one. Barnes seized the chance to sell the dictating machine and did it so successfully that Edison gave him a contract to distribute and market it all over the world. When Edwin C. Barnes climbed down from that freight train in Orange, New Jersey, he possessed one consuming obsession to become the business associate of the great inventor. Barnes' desire was not hopes, it was definite. Wishing will not bring riches or other forms of success, but desiring riches with a mind that becomes an obsession, then planning definite ways and means to acquire riches, and backing those plans with persistence that does not recognize failure will bring success. The method by which desire can be transmuted into its financial equivalent consists of six definite practical steps. One, first, fix in your mind the exact amount of money you can be. Second, determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money. Third, establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money you desire. Fourth, create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once, whether you're ready or not, to put this plan into action. Fifth, write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire, name the time limit for its acquisition, state what you intend to give in return for the money, and describe clearly the plan through which you intend to accumulate it. And sixth, read your written statement aloud twice daily, once at night and once after rising in the morning. As you read, already in possession of the money. It is especially important that you observe the following number six. You may complain that it is impossible for you to see yourself in possession of money before you actually have it. Here's where a burning desire will come to your aid. If you truly desire money or another goal so keenly that your desire is an obsession, you'll have no difficulty in convincing yourself that you will acquire it. The object is to want it so much and become so determined that you convince yourself that you will have it. In future chapters, you'll learn why this is so important. Chapter 2, Faith, the second step to riches. Faith is the head chemist of the mind. When faith is blended with the vibration of thought, the subconscious mind instantly picks up the vibration, translates it into its spiritual equivalent, and transmits it into infinite intelligence, as in the case of prayer. All thoughts that have been emotionalized, given feeling, and mixed with faith begin immediately to translate themselves into their physical equivalent. If you have difficulty getting a grasp of just what faith is, think of it as a special form of persistence, one that we feel when we know that we have right at our backs that help us persevere through setbacks and temporary failure. To develop this quality in yourself, use this five-step formula. Promise yourself to read, repeat, and abide by these steps and write down your promise. First, I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action toward its attainment, and I here and now promise to render such action. Second, I realize that the dominating thoughts in my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture of that person. Third, I know that through the principle of autosuggestion, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of obtaining the object back in it. Therefore, I will devote 10 minutes daily to demanding myself the development of self confidence. Fourth, I've clearly written down a description of my definite chief aim in life, and I'll never stop trying until I shall have developed sufficient self confidence for its attainment. And fifth, I fully realize that no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage in no transaction that does not benefit all human effects. I will succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use and the cooperation of other people. I will induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve others. I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing love for all humanity because I know that a negative attitude toward others can never bring me success. I will cause others to believe in me because I will believe in them and in myself. I'll sign my name to this formula, commit it to memory, and repeat it aloud once a day with full faith that it'll gradually influence my thoughts and actions so that I'll become a self reliant and successful person. Chapter 3, Autosuggestion, the medium for influencing the subconscious mind, the third step to riches. Autosuggestion is a term that applies to all suggestions and self-administered stimuli that reaches one's mind through the five senses. Stated in another way, autosuggestion is self-suggestion. It is the agency of communication between the conscious and subconscious minds, but your subconscious mind recognizes and acts only upon thoughts that have been well mixed with emotion or feeling. This is a fact of such importance as to warrant repetition. When you begin to use and keep using the three-step program for autosuggestion in this chapter, be on alert for hunches from your subconscious mind, and when they appear, put them into action immediately. First, go into some quiet spot, preferably in bed at night, where you'll not be disturbed or interrupted. Close your eyes and repeat aloud so you may hear your own words the written statement of the amount of money you intend to accumulate, the time limit for its accumulation, and a description of the service or merchandise you intend to give in return for the money. As you carry out these instructions, see yourself already in possession of the money. Basically, what it means is you want to visualize the money, the wealth, the abundance flowing to you already as it is now, in the present. Visualize it. Visualize. Power of visualization. Create that image in your mind. For example, suppose that you intend to accumulate $50,000 by the 1st of January, 5 years hence, and you intend to give personal services in return for the money and capacity of a salesman, your written statement of your purpose and should be similar to the following. By the first day of January, I have in my possession $50,000, which will come to me in various amounts from time to time during the interim. In return for this money, I'll give the most efficient service which I am capable, rendering the fullest possible quantity and the best possible quality of service in the capacity of a salesman of, and describe the service or merchandise you intend to sell. I believe that I'll have this money in my possession. My faith is so strong that I can now see this money before my eyes. I can touch it with my hands. It is now awaiting transfer to me at the time and the proportion that I deliver the service I intend to render for it. I am awaiting a plan by which to accumulate this money, and I will follow that plan when it is received. Second, repeat this program night and morning until you can see in your imagination the money you intend to accumulate. Third, place a written copy of your statement where you can see it night and morning and read it just before retiring and upon arising until it has been memorized. Chapter 4, Specialized Knowledge, the fourth step to riches. General knowledge, no matter how great in quantity or variety, is a little use in accumulating money. Knowledge is only potential power. It becomes power only when it is organized into definite plans of action and directed toward a definite end. In connection with your aim, you must decide what sort of specialized knowledge you require and the purpose for which it is needed. To a large extent, the major purpose in life and the goal toward which you are working will help determine what knowledge you need. With this question settled, your next move requires that you have accurate information concerning dependable sources of knowledge. Look toward many high quality sources for the knowledge you seek. People, courses, partnerships, books, look everywhere. Some of this knowledge will be free. Never undervalue what is free, and some will require purchasing. Decide what knowledge you seek and pursue it completely. The author spent more than 20 years interviewing people and studying success methods before writing this book. Without specialized knowledge, your ideas remain mere wishes. Once you've acquired the knowledge you need, you can use your critical faculty of imagination to combine your ideas with this specialized knowledge and make organized plans to carry out your aims. This is the formula for capability, using imagination to combine specialized knowledge with ideas and to form organized plans. The connecting ingredient is imagination, which we will now learn to cultivate. Chapter 5: Imagination, the fifth step to riches. The imagination is the workshop where in our fashion all plans created by man. The impulse desires literally given shape, form of action through the aid of the imaginative faculty of the mind. Through the medium of creative imagination, the finite mind of man has direct communication with infinite intelligence. Imagination is the faculty through which hunches and inspirations are reached. It is by this faculty that all basic or new ideas are handed over to man. It is through this faculty that thought vibrations from the minds of others are received. It is through this faculty that one individual may tune in or communicate with the subconscious minds of others. The creative imagination works only when the conscious mind is stimulated through the emotion of strong desire. This is highly significant. What's more, the creative faculty may have become weak through inaction. Your imagination becomes more alert and more receptive in proportion to its development through use. After you have completed this book, return to this section and begin at once to put your imagination to work on the building of a plan or plans for the transmutation of desire into money or your core aim. Reduce your plan to writing. The moment you complete this, you will have definitely given concrete form to the intangible desire. This step is extremely important. When you reduce the intent statement of your desire and plan for its realization into writing, you've actually taken the first of a series of steps that will enable you to convert your thought into its physical counterpart. Chapter 6: Organized Planning, the sixth step to riches, turning desire into action. Just a little bit of a note, by the way, organized planning is the largest chapter, longest chapter in the book. So you want to pay attention to this chapter: organized planning, creating plans, building those plans, and persisting with those plans. It's very important. It is vital that you form a definite practical plan or plans to carry out your aims. You will now learn how to build plans that are practical as follows. First, ally yourself with a group of as many people as you may need for the creation and carrying out of your plan or plans for the accumulation of money, making use of the mastermind principle described in a later chapter. Compliance with this instruction is essential. Do not neglect it. Second, before forming your mastermind alliance, decide what advantages and benefits you may offer the individual members of your group in return for this cooperation. No one will work indefinitely without some form of compensation. No intelligent person will either request or expect another to work without adequate compensation, although this may not always be in the form of money. Third, arrange to meet with the members of your mastermind group at least twice a week and more often if possible until you have jointly perfected the necessary plan or plans for the accumulation of money. Remember, the mastermind principle is the driving force, and you want to connect 2 to 3 minds together to create an affinity, the psychic phase and spiritual phase, bringing multiplying brain power together for a common goal in perfect harmony. Join perfectly the necessary plan or plans for the accumulation of money. Fourth, maintain perfect harmony. Napoleon Hill says that's a key word in the book, perfect harmony. You want to be in harmonious conduct. Andrew Carnegie stressed highly the importance of a pleasing personality and working together in cooperation with others in perfect harmony to achieve one common goal. In this case, creating wealth. Maintain perfect harmony between yourself and every member of your mastermind group. If you fail to carry out this instruction to the letter, you may expect to meet with failure. The mastermind principle cannot obtain where perfect harmony does not prevail. Keep in mind these facts. 1. You are engaged in an undertaking of major importance to you. To be sure of success, you must have the plans that are faultless. 2. You must have the advantages of the experience and education, native ability, and imagination of other minds. This is in harmony with the methods followed by every person who has accumulated a great fortune. Now, if the first plan you devised does not work successfully, replace it with a new plan. If this new plan fails to work, replace it in turn with still another, and so on until you find a plan that does work. Right here is the point where the majority of men meet with failure because of their lack of persistence in creating new plans to take the place of those that fail. Remember this when your plans fail. Temporary defeat is not permanent failure. No follower of this philosophy can reasonably expect to accumulate a fortune without experiencing temporary defeat. When defeat comes, accept it as a signal that your plans are not sound. Rebuild those plans and set sail once more at your goal. Finally, as you're devising your plans, keep in mind these major attributes of leadership, traits possessed by the great achievers. 1. Unwavering courage. 2. Self-control. 3. A keen sense of justice. 4. The definiteness of decision. 5. Definiteness of plan. 6. The habit of doing more than paid for. 7. A pleasing personality. 8. Sympathy and understanding. 9. Mastery of detail. 10. Willingness to assume full responsibility. And 11. Cooperation with others. Chapter 7. Decision. The seventh step to riches. Analysis of several hundred people who had accumulated fortunes disclosed that every one of them had the habit of reaching decisions promptly and of changing these decisions slowly, if and when they were changed. People who fail to accumulate money without exception have the habit of reaching decisions, if at all, very slowly and of changing these decisions quickly and often. What's more, the majority of people who fail to accumulate money sufficient for their needs tend to be easily influenced by the opinions of others. Opinions are the cheapest commodities on earth. Everyone has a flock of opinions ready to be wished upon anyone who will accept them. If you're influenced by opinions when you reach decisions, you will not succeed in any undertaking, much less in that of transmitting your own desire for money. If you're influenced by the opinions of others, you will have no desire of your own. Keep your own counsel when you begin to put into practice the principles described here by reaching your own decisions and following them. Take no one into your confidence except members of your mastermind group, and be sure in the selection of the group that you choose only those who will be in complete sympathy and harmony with your purpose. Close friends and relatives, while not meaning to, often handicap one through opinions and sometimes through ridicule, which is meant to be humorous. Thousands of men and women carry inferiority complexes with them throughout life because some well meaning but ignorant person destroyed their confidence through opinions or ridicule. You have a mind of your own, use it and reach your own decisions. If you need facts or information from others to enable you to reach decisions, as you probably will in many instances, acquire these facts or secure the information you need quietly without disclosing your purpose. Those who reach decisions promptly and definitely know what they want and generally get it. Leaders in every walk of life decide quickly and firmly. That is the major reason why they are leaders. The world has a habit of making room for the man whose words and actions show that he knows where he's going. Chapter 8. Persistence. The eighth step to riches. Persistence is an essential factor in transmuting desire into its monetary equivalent. Basis of persistence is the power of will. Willpower and desire, when properly combined, make an irresistible pair. Men who accumulate great fortunes are generally known as cold blooded and sometimes ruthless. Often they are misunderstood, and what they have is willpower, which they mix with persistence and place back in their desires to ensure the attainment of their objectives. Lack of persistence is one of the major causes of failure. Experience with thousands of people has proved that lack of persistence is a weakness common to the majority of men. It is a weakness that may be overcome by effort. The ease with which lack of persistence may become conquered depends entirely upon the intensity of one's desire. In short, there is no substitute for persistence. It cannot be supplanted by any other quality. Remember this and it'll hearten you in the beginning when the going may seem difficult and slow. Those who have cultivated the habit of persistence seem to enjoy insurance against failure. No matter how many times they are defeated, they finally arrive toward the top of the ladder. Sometimes it appears that there is a hidden guide whose duty is to test men through all sorts of discouraging experiences. Those who pick themselves up after defeat and keep on trying arrive at their destination. The hidden guide lets no one enjoy a great achievement without passing the persistence test. What we do not see, and most of us never suspect of existing, is the silent but irresistible power that comes to the rescue of those who fight on in the face of discouragement. If we speak of this power at all, we call it persistence. There are four simple steps that lead to the habit of persistence. One, a definite purpose backed by burning desire for its fulfillment. Two, a definite plan expressed in continuous action. Three, a mind closed tightly against all negative and discouraging influences, including negative suggestions of relatives, friends, and acquaintances. Four, a friendly alliance with one or more persons will encourage you to follow through with both plan and purpose. Chapter 9, The Mastermind. The ninth step to riches, the power of the driving force. The mastermind may be defined as coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between two or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. Andrew Carnegie attributed his whole fortune to this principle, the mastermind principle. And Napoleon Hill said that he was so inspired by the mastermind principle that he wanted to dedicate the rest of his life to studying and developing success principles. No individual may hold great power without availing himself to the mastermind. A previous chapter supplied instructions for the creation of plans for the purpose of translating desire into its monetary equivalent. If you carry out these instructions with persistence and intelligence and use discrimination in selecting your mastermind group, your objective will be halfway reached even before you begin to recognize it. The mastermind brings in an obvious economic advantage by allowing you to surround yourself with the advice, counsel, and personal cooperation of a group of people who are willing to lend you wholeheartedly aid in the spirit of perfect harmony. Again, that word, perfect harmony. There's also more of abstract phase that may be called the psychic phase. The psychic phase of the mastermind is more difficult to comprehend because it has reference to the spiritual forces with which human race as a whole is not well acquainted. You may catch a significant suggestion from this statement. No two minds ever come together without thereby creating a third invisible, intangible force which may be likened to a third mind. The human mind is a form of energy, a part of it being spiritual in nature. When the minds of two people are coordinated in a spirit of harmony, again, that word, spirit of harmony, the spiritual units of energy of each mind form an affinity, which constitutes the psychic phase of the mastermind. Analyze the record of any man who has accumulated great fortune and many of those who have accumulated modest fortunes, and you'll find that they have either consciously or unconsciously employed the mastermind. Great power can be accumulated through no other principle than the mastermind, the driving force. Chapter 10, Sex Transmutation, the 10th step to riches, or also known as enthusiasm. Enthusiasm actually comes from a Greek word called enthos, and it means God within. So it's closely related to the word inspiration, which means to be inspired, means to be in spirit. So enthusiasm and inspiration go hand in hand. So you want to love what you do and be in Dharma, and you're going to be naturally enthusiastic and inspired. The meaning of the word transmute in its simple language, the changing or transferring of one element or form of energy into another. The emotion of sex brings into a being a unique, powerful state of mind that can be used for extraordinary intellectual, material, creative purposes. This is accomplished through sex transmutation, which means the switching of the mind from the thoughts of physical expression to the thoughts of some other nature. Sex is the most powerful of human desires. When driven by this desire, men develop keenness of imagination, courage, willpower, persistence, and creative ability unknown to them at other times. So strong and impelling is the desire for sexual contact that men freely run the risk of life and a reputation to indulge in it. When harnessed and redirected along other lines, this motivating force maintains all of its attributes of keenness of imagination and courage, which may be used as a powerful creative forces in literature, art, or in any other profession or calling, including, of course, the accumulation of riches. The transmutation of sex energy calls for the exercise of willpower, to be sure, but the reward is worth the effort. The desire for sexual expression is inborn and natural. The desire cannot and should not be submerged or eliminated, but it should be given an outlet through forms of expression that enrich the body, mind, and spirit. If not given this form of outlet through transmutation, it will seek outlets through purely physical channels. The emotion of sex is an irresistible force. When driven by this emotion, men become gifted with a superpower for action. Understand this truth, and you will catch the significance of the statement that sex transmutation will lift one into the status of a genius. The emotion of sex contains the secret of creative ability. When harnessed and transmuted, this driving force is capable of lifting men to the higher sphere of the thought, which enables them to master the sources of worry and petty annoyance that beset their pathway on the lower plane. The major reason why the majority of men who succeed do not begin to do so until after the ages of 40 to 50 or beyond is their tendency to dissipate their energies through overindulgence in physical expression of the emotion of sex. The majority of men never learn that urge of sex has other possibilities which far transcend in importance that of mere physical expression. But remember, sexual energy must be transmuted from desire for physical contact into some other form of desire and action in order to lift one to the status of genius. Chapter 11, The Subconscious Mind, the 11th step to riches, the connecting link. The subconscious mind is the connecting link between the finite mind of man and infinite intelligence. It is the intermediary through which one may draw upon the forces of infinite intelligence at will. It alone contains the secret process by which mental impulses are modified and changed into their spiritual equivalent. It alone is the medium through which prayer must be transmitted to the source capable of answering prayer. I never approached the discussion of the subconscious mind without feeling of littleness and inferiority, due perhaps to the fact that man's entire stock of knowledge on the subject is so pitifully limited. The very fact that the subconscious mind is the medium of communication between the thinking mind of man and infinite intelligence is itself a thought that almost paralyzes one's reason. After you have accepted as a reality the existence of your subconscious mind and understand its possibilities for transmitting your desires into their physical or monetary equivalent, you will understand why you have been repeatedly urged to make your desires clear and to reduce them to writing. You will also understand the necessity of persistence in carrying out instructions. The 13 principles in this book are the stimuli with which, through practice and persistence, you acquire the ability to reach and influence your subconscious mind. Chapter 12, The Brain, the 12th step to riches. A broadcasting, receiving, and sending station of thought, compared to like a radio, sending and receiving and tuning in to different frequencies of vibration of energy. More than 20 years ago, before writing this book, the author, working with the late Dr. Alexander Graham Bell and Dr. Elmer R. Gates, observed that every human brain is both a broadcasting and receiving station for the vibration of thought. The creative imagination is the receiving set of the brain, which receives thoughts released by the brains of others. It is the agency of communication between one's conscious or reasoning mind and the outer sources from which one may receive thought stimuli. When stimulated or stepped up to a higher rate of vibration, the mind becomes more receptive to the vibration of thought from outside sources. This stepping up occurs through positive emotions or the negative emotions. Through the emotions, the vibrations of thought may be increased. This is why it is so critical that your goal have strong emotions at the back of it. Vibrations at an exceedingly high rate are the only vibrations picked up and carried from one brain to another. Thought is energy traveling at an exceedingly high rate of vibration. Thought that has been modified or stepped up by any of the major emotions vibrates at much higher rate than ordinary thought. And it is this type of thought that passes from one mind to another through the broadcasting machinery of the human brain. Thus, you'll see the broadcasting principle and the factors through which you mix feeling or emotion with your thoughts and pass them on to your subconscious mind or to the minds of others. Chapter 13, The Sixth Sense, the 13th Step to Riches, the door to the Temple of Wisdom. The 13th and final principle is known as the Sixth Sense, through which infinite intelligence may and will communicate voluntarily without any effort or demands by the individual. After you have mastered the principles in this book, you will be prepared to accept as a true statement that may otherwise seem incredibly namely. Through the aid of the sixth sense, you will be warned of impending dangers in time to avoid them and notified of opportunities in time to embrace them. With the development of the sixth sense, there comes to your aid and to your bidding a kind of guardian angel who will open to you at all times the door to the temple of wisdom. Whether this is a statement of truth, you'll never know except by following the instructions described in this book or similar method. The author is not a believer in or advocate of miracles for the reason that he has enough knowledge of nature to understand that nature never deviates from her established laws. Some of her laws are so incomprehensible that they produce what appear to be miracles. The sixth sense comes to as near being a miracle as anything I've ever experienced. Epilogue, a word about fear. As you begin any new undertaking, you are likely at one point or another to find yourself gripped by the emotion of fear. Fear should never be bargained with or capitulated to. It takes the charm from one's personality, destroys the possibility of accurate thinking, diverts concentration of effort, masters persistence, turns willpower into nothingness, destroys ambition, beclouds the memory, and invites failure in every conceivable form. It kills love, assassinates the finer emotions of the heart, discourages friendship, and leads to sleeplessness and misery and unhappiness. So pernicious and destructive is the emotion of fear that it is almost literally worse than anything that can befall in you. If you suffer from a fear of poverty, reach a definite decision to get along with whatever wealth you can accumulate without worry. If you fear loss of love, reach a decision to get along without love if that is necessary. If you experience a general sense of worry, reach a blanket decision that nothing life has to offer is worth the price of worry. And remember, the greatest of all remedies for fear is a burning desire for achievement, backed by useful service for others. And remember, the greatest of all remedies for fear is a burning desire for achievement, backed by useful service to others. And that concludes today's readings, inspirational readings from Dr. Joseph Murphy and Dr. Napoleon Hill. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Namaste, and God bless you. God bless you.